All right. Hi there once again, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is meteorologist Matt Wentz. Thanks for joining us here on Severe Weather Now, keeping you updated as we go throughout our severe weather event here as of this Sunday evening. Hope everyone had a nice Easter. I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek because obviously we're talking about strong to severe thunderstorms across a good portion of the southeast. These have produced tornadoes, and they have produced a lot of wind damage with them as well as they've tracked across Louisiana, Mississippi, and now areas of Alabama and Georgia. So here's the latest right now. What we're seeing, numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We've seen some strong rotation with a tornado that was just north and east of the Tuscaloosa area, now pushing into areas of Jefferson County, right near Birmingham. Very strong storm. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, though. Thankfully, we've lost a little bit of rotation on that. But again, that is going to continue to be a storm that we need to watch as it works right into the Birmingham area. We do have a tornado warning, though, up near Coleman, Alabama. This includes areas of I-65 as you head out of the Warrior community in Coleman right now under a tornado warning for a very strong cell moving in. This is not the same cell that was producing the rotation down to the south and west. This is another one. This is moving off to the north and the east around 65 miles per hour. We'll switch it over here and look at the wind so we can see what kind of velocity we're dealing with here. But these have been just the nature of these storms all afternoon and all evening have been very fast movers off to the north and the east. And on top of that, they've been not real pretty to look at as they've had a lot in terms of rainfall around them. So a lot of rain-wrapped tornadoes on the go forward. So let's take a look at this storm here. This is in the Coleman area. You can see, we've got a real good indication of some rotation that's been moving in from the west and southwest here. You can see that little area spin right there, moving right over I-65 right now near Coleman, Alabama. So if you are anywhere in Coleman or down to the south, Hanceville, this is heading towards Holly Pond and Blounceville as well. This is a dangerous storm. You can see a well-defined area of rotation there heading very quickly off to the east. If there's not a tornado with this, there's going to be some damaging wind heading right into Hanceville right now. This is now crossing over 65. It'll be there in probably 30 seconds to a minute. And then eventually Blounceville and Sneed are two areas in concern with that storm as that continues off to the east. Coleman itself, very dangerous part of the storm working over you as well. You can see kind of this push of wind coming in from the south where we've got the wind coming more back towards the radar off to the north. So that area rotation again right over I-65 near Coleman, Alabama, heading off towards Holly Pond and Hanceville. This is all an area to watch. Off to the north, a little bit different setup here. We're watching this storm path just down your south if you're in Ava. Heading towards the Arab community, you can see we've got this whole entire polygon heading off to the north and the east because this is a big storm. But I think the worst part of the storm is from Coleman down to the south near the Hanceville area. So again, that's a tornado warning. That is for areas of northern Alabama, just north of the Birmingham community. These storms are severe down towards Birmingham, though. We've had damaging winds with these. We've had lots of flooding rainfall off to the west. You can see just all the copious amounts of rain that we've had with these storms as they continue to track northeast very quickly. But again, it's that tornado warning right over Coleman, Alabama right now that has us concerned with a very dangerous storm now heading right over I-65. As we zoom this picture out, we've also had tornadic thunderstorms. These have been very long-lived since Mississippi. This has had a history of producing tornadoes. This is now in the Dalton area heading off into North Carolina. This is the southern half of North Carolina and also areas of eastern, extreme eastern Tennessee across the border here. I'm going to change my radar site over. That way we can get a better read off of this one. This is going to be at the edge of a radar site, though. That's going to be the problem with this, is we may not get a good read on this, but hopefully we can here. But again, these are some dangerous storms that have had a history of producing tornadoes back down towards the south and the west. As far back as Mississippi have these storms had some radar issues there. Let me see if I can get this radar site pulled up, and that would help us for sure to take a closer look at these storms in eastern areas of Tennessee. All right, we're going to go back here and see what we're dealing with here. So if you are being impacted by these storms, more than likely in the southern half of the United States, but this whole entire storm system is very far-reaching. In fact, we're seeing strong winds across a good portion of the Ohio Valley up towards the upper Midwest with this storm as well. So it's all the part of the same system. The problem with this is that the severe weather part, the most dangerous part of the storm, happens to be across areas of the southeast. So this is going to be ongoing throughout the rest of the evening hours as well and through the overnight. And that's the big problem, is because once everyone goes to bed, we've got a line of severe storms that's going to continue with its current strength off to the east, and that is going to be problematic as we go throughout the overnight. So not good news for all those out in the areas of Georgia, South Carolina, down into Florida as well. All right, well, we can't seem to change our radar site there, but that's okay. All right, so back down to the south, you can see we've got more rain and showers and thunderstorms lining up south of Birmingham. In fact, a new tornado warning now for areas down towards Jackson, Alabama. This is just to the east of Meridian, east of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. This is getting into Alabama now, crossing over from Mississippi. So this is our new tornado warning. This is the area I'm going to be a little bit more concerned with as we go throughout the rest of the next hour to 2 hours now, is this southern flank that's down in areas of southern Alabama. And the reason why is because this whole area is untapped. We've got a decent flow out of the south, and these are going to be some dangerous storms that develop down here, as the atmosphere really has not had much in terms of severe weather so far today. So here's our tornado warning. This is in the town of Coffeyville, heading off towards the north and the east, near Grove Hill and Thomasville. Again, what we're looking at is areas of southern Alabama. This is down as we zoom out a little bit. Here's Mississippi, here's Alabama, here's the Florida Panhandle, and this is just north of Mobile, but just north of Jackson as well, towards the Waynesboro, Gilbertown, and Thomasville area. So a little bit rural in here, but we still have some main thoroughfares that go through, especially as you get over towards I-65, heading up towards Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, and eventually the Birmingham area. Again, that's going to be an area to watch as this continues to head off towards the east a little bit. But again, this is our dangerous cell. Let's turn on the wind here to take a look at exactly what we're dealing with in terms of that area of rotation. And you can see we're kind of outside the radar site here, so not getting a really good read. Let me see if I can flip that radar on over now. For some reason, it's not working for me on that. You can see the areas impacted under the polygon here, including Coffeyville. And again, this is in Alabama with the severe thunderstorm warnings heading out of the storm. And this is the most dangerous parts of the southern area here. Okay, let's switch on over here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to load a different radar here since I can't seem to get that one to work. We've got like 8 to choose from, so no slack in terms of radar here. But again, this is our storm, and you can see the line. I'll show you kind of a zoomed out look here, what this line has been doing over the last couple hours. But this is the part that's really going to be kind of supercellular here over the next couple hours. Is again, this whole air mass down to the south, relatively untapped. So we've got this line of storms that is going to race east. We've got a nice flow out of the south, nothing really preventing them from decaying at all. And you can see now we're starting to light up with severe thunderstorm warnings and even that tornado warning in areas of Mississippi. So I think this will be the area to watch. So if you're in Montgomery down towards the Gulf Coast in Florida or southern Alabama, that area I think will be under the danger zone here over the next couple hours as this really starts to take hold in terms of the active weather throughout the overnight hours. Further off to the north, though, we still have this embedded line with lots of heavy rainfall going with it, and that extends from Huntsville down towards Birmingham. Our tornado-warned storm right now is near the Coleman area, heading off towards the north and the east, just to the east of I-65 now, but you can see the heavy rain that we have stretching back down to the south and the west. That will continue to be problematic, and we'll have to watch some of these storms down to the southwest of Birmingham. We are not out of the woods yet across that area. Off to the north and the east, we've had the active weather. This has been a very strong thunderstorm that has had a history of dropping a tornado with it every 20, 30 minutes or so, and then it'll lift and kind of restructure itself. And it looks like now as it heads into extreme southeastern areas of Tennessee, we still have that tornado warning with it right now. So let's get a good look at that one. This has been a real messy storm. It hasn't looked like a classic supercell at all, but if you don't have the tornado with this, you have the damaging winds for sure. And again, this is extreme southeastern areas of Tennessee. So very mountainous in here. You got the Smoky Mountains. You get over towards North Carolina. This is North Carolina border here. You head over towards Asheville, and it's just very mountainous. And with these storms, they've been very low top. So we have very, very strong winds, not too far off with the jet stream and the fact that these things they've got a lot of low level wind with them. So it doesn't take a whole lot in terms of growth with these thunderstorms to really produce some damage, and that's what we've seen with this storm. Is it's produced a lot of wind damage off to the south and the west outside of the tornado warnings that we've had. And so I say all that because with the increase in elevation here, we're mountainous, right? You're already putting yourself up higher in the sky where some of those stronger winds are, and that could be one of the indications that we'll have more wind damage as we get up towards this area because it is more mountainous. So again, this is all south and east of 75, rural here, but mountainous for sure. You can see the town of Benton there. This is heading north in the east and eventually heading towards Etowah and Tellico Plains. That is in Tennessee, but you can see how close it is to areas of North Carolina, perhaps clipping some of the areas here on the very extreme western edge. So we'll watch that storm as that continues off to the north. I'm curious how far this holds together. As it gets up into Tennessee, it'll kind of ride that state line because this cell is now, we've got some instability here, but it's really riding off of a lot of wind shear and kind of sustained itself as it's getting away from our main area of unstable air, which is a little bit further down to the south as you get down towards Alabama. So we've got numerous tornado warnings now for these storms that continue to head just north of the Birmingham area. Coleman, you already experienced a tornado warning. You're under another one now. Again, this one a little bit further back to the south and the east. Let's look at the velocity on this one to see what kind of wind we're dealing with in terms of rotation. Because we've had multiple spin-ups in these storms as we've gone throughout the afternoon and evening. It hasn't just been one storm and then you're done. It has been a multitude of storms, and that is really hasn't given anyone a break in terms of getting some rest after perhaps a severe storm moves through. So here we go. We've got two areas of rotation. Pretty good signature on this one as well. I'll see if I can get another look at it here from a different source. And yeah, we've got two areas here. There's one right in here. That triggered our first tornado warning, but you can see the secondary one forming back towards the Coleman area as well. So this one looks to be kind of taking over as the cell continues to push off to the north and the east, but still dealing with a tornado warning in places like Holly Pond, Fairview, Baileyton, all these locations in the path of this storm. And these things are hauling off to the north and the east. This one moving around 70 miles per hour. So it will very quickly be out of that area and further off towards the New Hope area as you get into extreme northeastern Alabama. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings for Jefferson County, areas just north of Birmingham from Gardendale, Warrior, over towards the Springville area. These storms are kind of riding the 59 corridor as you get out of town there. And these are severe thunderstorm warnings for damaging winds. Cannot rule out a spin-up tornado with these as well. These are all packing a punch here this evening, and this is certainly a possible area of rotation that you can see there back towards Warrior that we'll have to watch. Pretty broad right now. That's why we've got this severe thunderstorm warning, but a storm to watch for sure as this continues off to the north and the east. The bulk of the storms right now over Alabama, they stretch back down towards the south as well. We also have another area of storms off towards the west. This is coming out of the Little Rock area. If you joined us for one of our live updates earlier, we were highlighting these storms as this is really phase 3. This is the area low pressure off to the west that's kicking out towards the east. And all of this will eventually head into areas of Mississippi. And I think this is Memphis and even Nashville's threat at severe weather is this little cluster back here. Tornado threat, yeah, we've got it with this line, but it's mainly a damaging wind threat. There's a whole surge of wind energy with this along that area, low pressure that'll push in. And I would expect damaging winds with this right now in areas of eastern Arkansas, but eventually heading into very shortly areas of western Mississippi. I would expect some wind damage from that, and you can't rule out some isolated tornadoes at the leading edge of that. But by and large, this is going to be our most dangerous line, I think, over the next couple hours, especially the southern flank. I continue to be very impressed. Look at these multiple supercells developing as you get back down towards southern Mississippi. This will continue, this little hose of moisture that we have literally coming out of the Gulf, and the fact that we've got strong shear aloft and down at the surface, we've got the potential for spin-up tornadoes pretty much all overnight as this line advances off to the east. It'll go from Mississippi into Alabama, the Florida Gulf Coast, Fort Walton Beach over towards Tallahassee eventually comes into play with this as we go through the early morning hours, getting into Atlanta, who's been very quiet so far, and then eventually down towards Montgomery, Columbus, Georgia, Albany, and then over towards the Macon area as we go through the overnight as well. So very active overnight expected, very dangerous storms that we've had, and these continue to pack a punch where any one of them can literally spin up a tornado, and we've seen multiple tornadoes and unfortunately some deaths as we have had some big tornadoes. No ratings yet. Obviously, National Weather Service gets out, but there's some storms back in Louisiana and Mississippi that are going to be big ones when they take a look at it tomorrow. Lots of damage from those. All right, so these storms extend off to the north. You can see what we're dealing with as you get in northern Alabama, lots of heavy rain. We still have that tornado warning near the Coleman, Alabama area, another tornado warning right now down towards areas of southwestern Alabama, and then this line back towards the west in Arkansas. That's producing all the damaging winds that we have, and that will advance east as we go throughout the overnight. We're dealing with not a whole lot going on right now in Atlanta. Some of the initial rain starting to get in there. That is blowing off of these thunderstorms off to the west. The atmosphere has changed greatly in the Atlanta area over the course of the daytime, and Birmingham for that matter, where we started kind of on the cool side. We had some drier air in place, and boy, that warm front has surged north of you, dealing with all sorts of humidity right now. It is just downright thick outside across those areas, and again, that's going to be the case throughout the overnight. You can definitely see that we've got all that thick air in place, really helping to boost some of that severe potential here this evening. All right, so we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the evening. We'll be back with another stream here in a little bit, and again, we're going to be with you throughout the overnight as well. So make sure you stay tuned and keep it here, and tell your friends about it, because obviously we're a new channel just trying to get started, but we appreciate all the support we get. Thanks again.